Good afternoon. My name is Larry Ray. I'm the President and CEO of Gold Ray Resources Corp., a company that trades on the TSX Venture Exchange and has the majority of its operations in China. We are currently developing a resource there with limited production at this time. Our goal is to increase this production up to about 1,200 to 1,500 tons per day. And to do that, we are negotiating with several Chinese companies, one of which will become our partner either directly into the company or into the project, which will allow us to move the project up to the desired tonnage. For further information, please visit our website at goldray.com or phone 604-531-9639.
Welcome back to the Money and Wealth Show. I'm Sterling Fox, and the world is paying a lot of attention to the European Union and particularly to the financial problems of Greece. Our guest this weekend is the head of Hellenic Studies at Simon Fraser University, Dr. Andre Gerolymatos. And Andre, let's bring this thing across the pond here to North America. We've talked about the potential for something well beyond tension in the European Union should Greece default or even fail to meet its financial obligations with the bailout that's just been arranged. What implications are there in all of this for Canada and the United States?
Well, there's the chain reaction effect, right? If Greece goes under, it will take the EU with it, and then the EU goes under, it would pull in the United States. And, you know, the United States going bankrupt is a terrible idea. I mean, it's a nightmare scenario, which of course would impact Canada. However, I don't think that the Europeans will allow it to go that far. And that's why they made out that huge loan to Greece. I mean, if they had their way, they wouldn't have given any loan whatsoever and let the Greeks fend for themselves. But whether we like it or not, we live in a global economy. What happens in the United States, what happens in Greece, what happens in China, impacts on all of us.
Exactly. Now, Canada and our Canadian banks, still very strong, very conservative, and among the best in shape in the world. Yeah. We don't have much banking exposure to Greek debt in Canada, do we?
No, we don't.
What about American banks? I know that Goldman Sachs is widely figured to be a player in the European economy and in particular in the current Greek financial problem.
They are, and they've also had a hand in causing the crisis. I mean, it was Goldman Sachs that was helping the Greeks lie about their numbers. And it was the same Goldman Sachs that was selling Greek bonds short. So, you know, a lot of fingers in this particular bad pie. However, what happens in Greece, you know, can have all these things theoretically, but in practice, a greater fear is the U.S. debt. You know, the U.S. debt is the Mount Everest of debt.
Yes.
It's trillions of dollars in debt,
yeah,
which the Chinese are holding. But the Chinese are aware of it. You know, as long as everyone is aware of what is going on, and everyone can pretend that everything is okay, and keep on pretending, while over time the debt is paid down, will be okay. As long as someone doesn't challenge that debt, that's when the trouble begins.
Right, and of course that's where the right wing in the United States is really concerned because they're very vulnerable to China in terms of owing vast amounts, trillions of dollars. And should that loan, for whatever reason, ever be called, America would be in deep trouble.
But so would China.
Right, I suppose.
Right, because their wealth is based on dollars. So if that dollar all of a sudden was worthless, then the Chinese wealth would be worthless.
Now back to Greece. If France and Germany and the European Central Bank, the largest holders of Greek debt, were to, if Greece, for example, has difficulties with its obligations under the terms of the bailout, could France and the European Central Bank, and especially Germany, go, all right, well, listen, it's time to put up or shut up. Let's see some cash or you're in trouble. What would happen then?
It would cause that chain reaction. That's why they cannot do that. What I suspect will happen is that, you know, with this debt, it buys everyone a little bit of time, and it quietens nerves down. And I think down the road, everyone will agree that the Greeks should restructure their debt, and everyone will take a hit. But it will be a much smaller hit than if the Greeks went bankrupt.
Is there value in it for Canada if, for example, the euro were to devalue even further than it. Right now we're seeing it riding a bit of a volatile wave at the moment in value, and as I mentioned earlier, people are appropriately moving to gold. Do you see the euro retaining basically its value, or could it suffer greater losses because of this uncertainty in Greece and Portugal and the other Club Med Southern European countries?
I think it's going to go down, because until the situation is stabilized in Greece and in Europe and in Spain and Portugal and in Ireland. However, for Canada, down the road, this represents some interesting opportunities. Our trade is so tied up with that of the United States. Maybe we should be thinking of diversifying. And you always want to buy low and sell high. Mm-hmm. So there will be some great investment opportunities for Canadians in Greece and Spain and Portugal and Ireland, even in Germany and France. And why not? Why not take advantage of the situation and enrich Canadians?
I have to ask you this question. I saw it in the paper, and it actually made me laugh out loud. Apparently, those beautiful, idyllic Greek islands are in fact owned by the state. And someone suggested in a column in one of the financial papers, well, why doesn't Greece just smarten up and sell off some of these islands to other countries who could incorporate them as provinces or territories, make a killing, and reduce huge amounts of their national debt?
It's a great idea, especially the strings of islands that are near Turkey, because Turkey has been trying to claim a lot of these Greek islands, and therefore that would relieve the Greek Navy of having to defend those islands, and that would cut the Greek national debt, and perhaps give Canada some sun-soaked territories.
Would that be enormously offensive, though, to the Greek population?
I don't think so. There's 3,500 Greek islands. They can lose a few, and I don't think they would mind that much. But my point is that sell the ones, and I don't think they'll do that, of course, sell the ones that are, that the Turks are contesting, because the Turks contesting.
Make it somebody else's headache.
Exactly, or at least bring it home to the Europeans that a cheaper way to finance the Greek debt is not to give them money, but guarantee their frontiers.
The situation in Greece is not going to improve in the near future, but it is certainly going to be worth watching and closely, particularly this summer. One can only hope that we've provided you with at least a little insight as to some of the background behind the situation. And Dr. Andre Gerolymatos, thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the program today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I can only hope that our audience has learned as much as I have in the last half hour.
You're very welcome.
We'll be right back.